Race 2 of the Belgium Cyclocross adventure, and this was an FCWB race, so it was more of a local league sort of race. I'd compare it to the Wessex League that I normally do in the UK. It was more in the Namur district, so Nico thankfully put me on to this one. So we're on the start line right now. The massive differences with this one, they are all French speaking. So if it wasn't for Nico translating for me, I would have been screwed, because my foreign language speaking peaks at about Sprechen Sie Deutsch, and that is it. So he signed me on, he told me when we were about to go. I was literally just watching, waiting at the start line, ready for it to go ping so I could absolutely hit it. But we're about to get underway, and the start of this race was pure carnage. I absolutely loved it. I am here for the start of this race. Literally like 50 metres, full gas, about 50 blokes, straight into a left-hander. As soon as we got round there, it was like absolute bottleneck, because everyone had to get off to dismount. To look, pure carnage. I am absolutely here for it. There is no way in a million years the British cyclocross scene would be allowed to have that start. It was just absolutely mega. I absolutely loved it. But obviously I was gridded right at the back on this race, so you can see already there's the front of the race. We're about to come into another bottleneck, and look at that guy going down the inside. You've got to love it. Look, we're going for a gate. There's nothing you can do here. I mean, the Belgians are a bit like, if you leave the door open, they will take the gap, like that guy back then. And then this is when I knew I needed to start moving up now. I didn't fully send it off the start line because I knew what was coming. And it was like, I can send it, can't get anywhere. And if I try and send it again, I would have got caught in that like gate bit, so it was absolutely pointless. But this is when I started trying to move up, and boy oh boy did I have an absolute blast around this course. It was wicked how they managed to fit this in. It's like we're on basically a motocross course. There's my first couple of victims I just took, and I was just like, just give it the absolute berries, make it hurt and try and move up, because it's pretty dry this bit, but it was like gravelly slick on top. Look, oi, foot out, flat out, you've got to love that. But he did give me the place, so absolute hero. But basically, I did say, I described this race as a bit like a Wessex League, but the all Belgium racers, cyclocross racers, they're bloody fast. There's no two ways about it. This is like their football for English people. It's just massive out there. Look, you can see I'm trying to go around the outside, overtake people, but there's just no grip out there. I'm just like clinging on for dear life, but I've managed to make up a couple of spots there. These little corners were slick, so you can see there I've managed to move up again. I was absolutely flying at this point, having the time of my life. There's nothing more exciting than when you're in a race and you're moving up and like getting elbow to elbow with people. So the race started like halfway round. This will be just here, will be the finish line on the last lap, basically right there where the green van is. There was a green line on the floor, so I've managed to move up again there. Absolutely lovely, full beans. But yeah, as I was saying, because of the start and the bottleneck, I mean, even if I'd love to have started on the front row and seen if I could have gone with the boys at the front of this race. But because I was chasing and there was like hold-ups, bottlenecks, and you're trying to get past people, the front of the race had absolutely gone by this point. You might be able to see them. We come down this little road section. Like that on the left is where you park your cars. It's absolutely class. Love it. Like, look at these little slalom barriers. Get in there. But you can see the people up ahead. I'm moving up to catch them now, but you can see like it gets so strung out, and the front boys have just absolutely gone right now. I was trying to say to myself, just absolutely pull the pin off the start and see if you can move up. And obviously I did move up, but like I said, once that gap goes to the front boys, it's really hard to catch back onto it, especially when you're trying to get past people. But it's absolutely wicked fun. I cannot recommend this race enough. I think this was Christmas Eve, So what a treat for the wife this was, getting her to come and watch this. But I think they have this race here every year on Christmas Eve. It's a bit more of a drive out towards Namur, but it's absolutely class. Like, it gets into a bit of a muddy section in a minute, but you can see here I've managed to move up to the next group now, and we go through like a little tunnel bit here, and then this is where it gets a little bit muddy. And it was like this, it doesn't look too, it's not like the British mud, but it was slippy as. You can see here I'm trying to go green as grass, and then I've realised it's better to switch over to the other side. But you can see I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders all lined up, ready for the take-in. Your man is ready to go and move up some places again. But it's really awkward in this little section because there's a little downhill into a super, super muddy bit. And I actually think this section was better to get off and run, because it was like really draggy, really hard. There was this one line on the left, and you'll see later in the video, a guy does get off and run, and look, because it's awkward, but you have to get off for this end section anyway, a little uphill bank run. And yeah, I am ready to pounce on these 5 riders in front of me right now. But yeah, that section you'll see later in the video was much, much better to run. I'm going to play the full first lap because that's where all the action is at. You can see I've gone around the outside there. Grass's grip, as the rocket will tell you. And here is my chance to move up. Sneak. Is he going to go for a sneaky little one? I'll tell you what, I'm doing this off memory, this commentary right now. So I'm having an absolute nightmare remembering what went on. But I'm trying to just remember, I'm just trying to think, where did I move up? Where did I move up? And it wasn't, and it definitely wasn't through these gated sections. But any time there was a straight section, I think it was just after this bit, you see the guy in front of me eases off the gas a bit. You know when someone eases off the gas, you've got to pounce and get them on the next straightaway because they are hurting. So there I go, past him, little bit of elbow to elbow. You've got to love it. He's moving up, baby. And I think I'm probably getting close to like a top 10 now. There was about, I'm guessing, I want to say there was 50 of us on the start line. But look at this, good Georgie boy. The next little bit is a wicked bit of the course, and you can see I'm going to try and move up here, but the Belgians have none of it. They'll just chop your front wheel off. They love a racing move, and I'm all about it. So this bit, the camera doesn't do it justice, but that's really off camber there. And then we're back, this is where the start straight was again, so we're back into that nasty little left-hander and up the bank, but now it's not so carnage. I've just come straight up the inside. Go on, give it the beans. Giving it the beans, love it. And I managed to make up a one spot there, and I was thinking to myself, you've got to make it hurt down here, but the boys were just strong boys. Sorry about the mud on the camera. I think I do wipe it in a second. But yeah, so I've moved up. I reckon I'm into like maybe 10th, 11th place now, something like that. The front of the race is completely gone. But you know we're going to give it the ponies and try and keep moving up. It's absolutely wicked they let me have the chest strap on for this race as well. Normally I've got it on my handlebars. But if you watched the last video, you'll know my mount snapped. But here we go again, another little move up manoeuvre. Go on! That's what we're talking about. This is the creme de la creme of cyclocross racing, and you need to get out to Belgium and do this race. I think they also have it on the 31st New Year's Eve as well. They have this exact course or location. Anyway, he's moving up again, and honestly, if you look at my heart rate, it's only at like 173. Out in Belgium, I really struggled with fatigue, and I think it was just like all of the travelling, and I basically looked at it and tried to fit as many races in as possible. I'm not going to make excuses. That was my decision to do that. I thought if we're going out there, I'm going to go all in, try and do loads and loads of races. But what I didn't anticipate for was just the fatigue of like travelling out there. Also having, like, we treated it as a holiday as well. So doing things with the rocket massively put me under fatigue, and my legs just felt absolutely shelled. So I went deep on this first 10 minutes, although my heart rate's not saying it. I was pushing hard to try and move up and get to the front of the race, and in the end, I paid for it in this race. You can see here, I'm looking at trying to move up, looking, but it goes into one of these gate sections again, and you've got to be closer. But he makes a little mistake foot out, so I know he's on the limit when you're making mistakes like that. So I think just pin it here, He's out the saddle. Good, Georgie boy. He moves up again, and there's another victim, and I can see my next one. Probably got about a 10-second gap now. So I was just battling, picking guys off, pick another guy, give it the ponies, make it hurt. So the next little bit, we're going to jump forward in a second to where I'm slowly grinding it down, and I've caught up to the next victim. And look at that, foot out, and I was like, you've got to get him here, George, you've got to get him, go straight away, put the hurt on. I've gone straight past, go on, he's got another space, and I think I was up into like maybe 8th place here, but he's done me on the inside. Look at that. The Belgians know how to race. They know how to put a move on you. And he's just done me Max Verstappen up the inside. Little slow clap for that one. But jumping on, I just kept putting the pressure on this guy in red and white. And we were having a wicked little battle. You'll see here, I think about going. He gets out the saddle because he can obviously see me in his peripheral. And I'm like, I'm just there hounding him. I'm like a little pit bull trying to get past him. And just here he gets out the saddle again, and I'm looking up the inside. Good George, yeah, he's back in front. You have got to love it. I was absolutely having a blast during this race. I remember it. After the misery of the first one where I bit off way more than I could chew, I was having a wicked time. But it was about, this race was like 40 minutes long, I think, and it was just here where the wheels started to fall off. He come back past me and he put the hurt on, and my legs were starting to feel Shell City now, and you can see he's pulling away, and I'm just thinking to myself right now, you have got to suffer, George, you've got to make it hurt. But look at that, he's gapped me, and I think it's also might be just here I lose another space to Felipe, the Costa Rican national champion. Mr. Felipe, I've done a lot of races against him out in Belgium, absolute legend, but he came past me, and I've jumped it on a little bit here now. He managed to drag me back onto the guy in red and black, and then he went past and put the power down, put the hurt on, and just sent it straight away. So you can see here, we're in this little battle now, and this battle was for 6th place, I think. Don't count me on that, I'm sure, but Felipe pulled away. Me and the guy in red and black were still duking it out, and this is, I'm pretty sure this is the last lap now. Yeah, we're at like 37 minutes, so I think we're on the last lap now, and it was a battle for 6th place, I think, 6th or 7th place right now. And we managed to catch up to this other lad that decided to go completely Mo Farah and run. This is what I meant earlier in the video. It was so much quicker to run this section. Look at that. He's run straight past us because we had to dismount here. The guy in red and black managed to ride it. Solid performance that right there. I ran. And my remounts last year were absolutely shocking. You can see that they've gapped me. But just here, the last ditch attack to try and get past this lad that was running a second ago. Red and black's gone past, so we're absolutely duking it out. And it was an absolute stinker around here. Look, come round the corner. He's made a mistake. I've got into him. The lad that's been running like Mo Farah has gone past. I've had to get off, and it's allowed a gap. So I did manage to get past the guy in red and black. But it was because he made a mistake, which then let the guy that was running like Mo Farah get away from us. And I just couldn't close the gap down to him. I got pretty close. This is the last few twisty turns of the race here. And you can see him just in front of me. And I think this would have given me 6th place if I could have got him on these last few corners. But he knew what he needed to do, and he just kept applying the pressure, putting the power down, and I just didn't have the legs at the end to get past him. We're coming into the last little section, and I do give it a good old dig along here to try and get as close as I can, because I think it could be an epic little sprint finish between us. You can see I've closed down the gap, closed it down last 2 corners, and I just did not have the beans. But what an epic race. Don't quote me on this. I think I finished 7th. It might have been 8th. I haven't checked the results since the race, but What a wicked race, absolute blast. Come away with 7th, moving through the field was absolutely mega.